Hi, kindergarten, first and second grade leaders. We're in July, the 16th of the month. It's hard to believe, but summer is quickly going away. I hope you've enjoyed some vacation time this summer, or some time at the river, or whatever you do for fun, just to refresh and rejuvenate. This week in our Bible lesson, we're going to be talking about Philip and the Ethiopian official. It's in the book of Acts. And if you haven't read this story, I really encourage you to get in there and read this story before you get there with the kids. This is kind of one of those stories that isn't always the first thing taught in different whatever you listen to, whoever you listen to teaching regularly. This is probably not a story that gets taught real regularly, but it's a really important story because Philip is out there. He's been sent out into the world in the book of Acts, like Jesus sent everybody out and to tell everyone about Jesus. And he happens to be in Africa, and he runs across this Ethiopian official who is reading God's word and had some big questions. So it's going to be a fun day. Your opening activity, you will have a ball, and then you also have some getting to know you questions. What you're supposed to do is pass the ball around to different people in the group, and they have 15 seconds to answer a question. There's some questions written in your discussion guide if you'd like to use those, or if you'd like to embellish and create your own questions. Sometimes the kids like silly questions, and it's a good way to get to know kids and also get some of the kids who aren't usually with you to open up and let everybody else figure out who they are. One of the things that we find in small groups is a lot of kids tend to stay with the kids that they know the best, but that doesn't help a small group function always. And so it's good to help everybody figure out common things that they can talk about. Then you'll go to a large group and worship, and you have your discussion questions. And then today, your kids are going to pretend that they are reporters. So you might want to talk to them about different ways that you get the news, or that they've heard the news. And I know this can be a really crazy thing because fake news has become the news lately. And so you might want to rein that in and not go totally crazy on discussing all of that, but encourage them to figure out what the role of a reporter looks like, what job they have to do. So you'll pass out a piece of paper to each kid. This will be their report, and on this, if they aren't really good at writing, they're welcome to draw a picture as well. And then what you're going to do is read the story from the whole story, and while you're reading, they're supposed to help answer these questions that they have on their report page. Again, if they're not good writers, don't worry about that. They can draw pictures. Pictures work just as good. And when all of that is over, then it would be fun to encourage each kid to get up and give their report. Maybe they like doing this. Maybe you have a few who don't. Maybe you want to pick a few kids who don't always get to stand up in front of everybody, and encourage them to figure out ways that they can describe the story about Philip and the Ethiopian. Ultimately, we want kids to understand that what Philip was doing was sharing his faith, and he was sharing about how Jesus came as a perfect man and died on the cross as a criminal, even though he didn't deserve it, and how he rose in 3 days to prove to us that he was God. And so if you can get the kids to tell you that in their report, that's great. If you have some kids that have questions, that's good too. Don't expect that every kid is going to know everything about all of this, and I would encourage them, keep asking questions. And maybe you don't have the answer, that's okay. You can come to me or one of your campus leaders, or Pastor Kim. He's my go-to for a lot of things, or Pastor Mike. And if none of that help us get the answer, then we'll pray together and we'll ask God to show us the right way to help answer those questions for the kids. Or maybe the answer will be, we just need to keep the conversation going with them. And then you will pray and dismiss with them. And this will be a good week to ask each kid to say one thing that they're thankful for Jesus. For kids who are not in church regularly, that may be really challenging for them. So maybe encourage them to find one thing that they learned today that they can be thankful for. Thank you guys for leading. You're doing a great job. Our small groups are growing. Our kids are growing because of it. And we're excited to send kids into student ministry with a great foundation, and excited to welcome our new little kindergartners that are coming in as well. We'll talk to you soon.